A few days ago, I posted what I call a project video, where I take an in-depth look at the loot available in Destiny 2's beta. I already covered 100 strikes, and if you missed that video, you can find a link to it in the description. But for this video, we're going to answer the question, what do I get from 100 control matches in Destiny 2? Now before I get into anything, there are a lot of variables at play with this one, just like the strikes video, and this is due to the fact the information was gathered during the beta, and because of this, the information and data will be slightly skewed. Also, like all my project videos, if you are a viewer who is impatient, who doesn't care about the math or the data or any of the information that explains anything, and just want a too long, didn't watch version of the video, skip to the time shown on screen now. For everyone else, let's dive into this. Like I said, I want to make some clarifications. First, this information was gathered based on the drops in the beta, and will be subject to change so much so that I'll be doing this exact video once again once the full game is released. Second, because of the limited number of drops, I will not be specifying armor drops per class, but instead simply condensing things such as the 3 helmets, the Hunter, Warlock, and Titan helmets, into one item and calling them simply helmets. This also applies to weapons. A scout is a scout, a hand cannon is a hand cannon. Third, the data was collected on all classes, which may slightly skew the data as well, as some things seem to drop more on one class opposed to the others. And the fourth and final clarification I want to make, I state this in every project video I make, but this is not from Bungie, this is not from the source code, and it was only 100 control matches. And it was from the beta. Take everything I say with a grain of salt, especially because it was the beta. Because of the nature of the beta, there was only a few things I could figure out, and these are identical to the strikes video, those being, what is the likelihood of each type of weapon? What is the likelihood of each type of armor piece? Is there any specific weighting that favors a specific drop? And a new question, are weapons or armor more common due to the fact that you can only obtain one or the other in a Crucible match, not both, like strikes? So as I said, it's time to look at the first question, what is the likelihood of each type of weapon? One thing I didn't clarify in the last video is when I stated there were 19 total weapons across 12 types, I listed them like this. There was 1 grenade launcher, 1 sniper, 1 rocket launcher, 1 shotgun, 1 linear fusion, 1 fusion, 2 hand cannons, 2 scouts, 2 pulse rifles, 2 assault rifles, 2 sidearms, and 3 submachine guns. These are simply the number of weapons available per type. For example, the 1 grenade launcher was the Acantha D, and the 3 submachine guns were the Phosphorus, the Red Mamba, and the Showrunner. I didn't receive 1 grenade launcher, there's just 1 type. So I hope that makes sense, and that clears that up, but let's look at the numbers. Because of the nature of the beta, in the Crucible, you only received either 1 weapon or 1 armor piece as loot. So instead of being out of 100, we're going out of 53, meaning I received a total of 53 weapons. But we will discuss that a bit later, just know this is out of 53. And these percentages I'm stating are compared only to other weapons, it does not take armor into account. So with that said, grenade launchers dropped 3.77% of the time, snipers dropped 1.89% of the time, rocket launchers dropping also at 1.89% of the time, shotguns dropping 7.55% of the time, linear fusions at 5.66%, fusions dropping at 3.77%, hand cannons also at 7.55%, scout rifles and pulse rifles both at 13.21% of the time, assault rifles dropping at 9.43%, sidearms at a massive 18.86%, and submachine guns tied with the scouts and pulse rifles at 13.21%. Now, I honestly don't know what to do with these numbers. This has to be the sample size tied with it being the beta. These numbers are truly all over the place, because we should see numbers around 8.33% for each weapon type, or 5.26% for each individual weapon, and this isn't the case. Depending on how you look at it, some weapon types were as far off as 6.44% less common than expected, like the sniper or the rocket launcher, or even further off, like the sidearms, which were 10.53% more common than expected. I will no doubt revisit this topic at launch because the data here is so far off I can't justify it by saying the sample size is too small. But on the bright side, armor pieces were just as off from each other, so I can at least blame the beta. But that being said, let's enter the next question, what is the likelihood of each type of armor piece? Armor, like the weapons, isn't based on a total of 100, but instead 47, which for you math whizzes out there, that you all realize 53 and 47 equals 100. Which will answer one of the questions we have in a bit, but for now, armor is out of 47, and it's no surprise to anyone there are 5 types of armor. The helmets, gauntlets, chest pieces, boots, and class items. But like I stated, just like the weapons, these were all over the place as well. Helmets dropped 21.27% of the time, gauntlets at 10.63%, chest pieces a massive 34.04%, Boots, incredibly rare at only 4.25%, and class items were oddly common at 29.78%. Again, like the weapons, these numbers are erratic. This is the first time I've ever done one of these projects and got answers that made little to no sense to me. I can't give you an answer as to why chess pieces drop 34% of the time, which is 14% more likely than what would be considered balance. I also don't know why boots were so rare at only 4.25%. I know people come to me for concise answers, but I don't know what to tell you guys. All I can say is that, hey, Bungie, if you watch this, and this isn't drastically different in the full game, and this isn't just because the beta is spilling over onto my numbers, you might want to look at this. But let's move on to the next question I wanted to answer. Is there any specific weighting that favors specific drops? And I expected to do what I always do and say no, but this is not the case. We had sidearms and class items and chess pieces taking up a majority of the drops. So in this case, yes, the Destiny 2 beta, while playing Control, it favored those 3 drops. However, the only thing balanced in the Destiny 2 beta when it comes to the drops while playing Control is the answer to the question, are weapon drops more common or are armor drops more common? And the answer is neither. As I stated, weapons dropped 53 times and armor dropped 47 times, which is very close to 50 in the grand scheme of things. And this is the only time in the entire video and this entire project that I can say with a bigger sample size, this would reach a nice balanced 50-50. After everything is said and done, I'm going to revisit this when Destiny 2 actually launches. These numbers are all over the place, but let's do a quick summary. Now, if you're one of the people that skipped to this part during your impatience, be ready because this summary is going to be all over the place and you missed a lot of information. When it comes to weapons, I received a total of 53 drops during Control matches, which the expected rate per weapon type should be around 8.33%. We had some weapons as rare as 1.89% of the time, and some as common as 18.86%. The ranges were incredibly erratic, and can't be blamed on the sample size alone. I have to say that this is probably just something that the beta caused. When it came to armor, we had the same nonsense. I received a total of 47 drops, and across the 5 types of armor in the beta, the helmet, gauntlets, chest piece, boots, and class items, the expectation was around 20% chance each. But once again, what we got was numbers ranging from 4.25% to 34.04%. Again, something I can't just blame on the sample size. The only thing truly balanced was the spread between receiving armor and weapons, which was 47% and 53% respectively. This is one of the few times that I will 100% take a second look at. While I did plan on looking at strikes again once we have the full game, these Control matches were strange. I normally expect it to be off by a couple of percentiles here and there. Going to any other projects that I've ever done, seeing something like 5% isn't a big deal, but seeing things off by 14% of what the expected drop rate is, such as the chess pieces at 34.04%, and that being 30% more likely than the boots, which only dropped 4.2% of the time, I can't give a definitive answer. I can only say that it was the beta. Hopefully when I revisit this in the future, we can have some more concrete numbers. Until then, guys, I'll be covering Destiny 2 news as it comes between now and launch. Now, I know I mentioned the links in the description in every video. I always mention the Discord and whatnot, but one thing I want you guys to do is check out my second channel. On top of the videos such as this on my main channel, on my second channel, I'm gonna break away from the serious videos and start posting Let's Plays. When this video goes live, there are already 3 episodes of Fortnite on my second channel, and I'll be posting a new episode every day at 9 AM Central Standard Time on my second channel. So of course I would love it if you subscribed and left comments and liked things on my main channel, but if you haven't, check out my second channel and subscribe there as well. Guys, for those of you that stuck around and waited for these projects to come back, I thank you for your support. For all the new faces, welcome, and to all of you, expect this on a very, very regular basis when Destiny 2 launches. On top of these projects, I'll also be focusing on the farming vids that you all love. So in just over a month, what you all have been waiting for will be here. But with all that said, I'm gonna get out of here. Say my name is Matt, and if you check out my second channel, I'll see you guys tomorrow. If you guys stick around here on the main channel, I'll see you guys next time.